This is Pez Owen. I've had the pleasure of meeting Pez over the last few months, and as you know, about for every year, the blogging and the interviews that we do are really centered around helping you all as readers and followers find new tools and techniques to incorporate into your healthy lifestyle. And meditation is something that I've always been interested in, and as far as what it, the benefits of it and how to make it part of your lifestyle. So I asked Pez to come in to talk about it because I think it would be helpful to learn. So what we're going to do to get started is just have Pez talk a little bit about how you got into, meditation, your background, that sort of thing, and then we'll go into the technique you do and why you chose that and that sort of thing. But thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you get into meditation?
Well, I got into meditation, I guess about 12 years ago now, for the same reason many people do, which was my own suffering.
Okay.
Now, suffering is a heavy word.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes it's just discomfort or, longing for something more. For me, I was suffering from depression, and I was in therapy. Nothing seemed to be working. And eventually, it took 5 years, but eventually my therapist convinced me to go on a retreat.
Okay.
It was a 10-day residential retreat.
Okay. That's a lot to get started all
at
one time.
I was going to jump in with both feet and give it, if it was going to work, it was going to work then.
I applaud you for that. Yeah, really committing to it.
As you can see, I'm still here.
That's good.
So something works.
Yes. So now, what meditation practice do you have, and is that the same practice you teach?
Right. So the answer to the second question is yes. What I teach is what I know, and what I practice is what I started with Shinzen.
Okay.
And I do that because it works for me, and I know it, and I understand it. Shinzen Young.
Shinzen Young. Okay.
And you can learn more about him from shinzenyoung.org.
Okay.
If you're interested.
Awesome.
So he teaches a system, not just a single technique.
Okay.
But it's a system that encompasses sort of all of the, what he calls psychospiritual contemplative practices.
That's a big word.
Yeah, people sort of shy away from spiritual practice sometimes, and it is a spiritual practice, but the way you define it doesn't have to be woo-woo or anything.
It's funny you say that. I'm going to interject really quickly because, as you know, I'm writing my new journal, and one of the big parts about it that I'm incorporating is understanding who you are. And we have so much of our inner voice. We all want that to have the power over our own control, and power and control over our own choices and our life.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happens that I'm learning through readings and studies is that our inner voice is also what's telling us what's okay and what's not okay. So it's we're off the hook, so to speak, right? So diving into the spiritual side of why we're really looking to embrace health and wellness and changing that conversation we're having as a bigger conversation internally, fighting the inner child, fighting the sabotager. So that's one of the reasons why meditation has become such of interest to me, because I think when you talk about spiritualness, I think people might say, well, what is that? But I think if they really learn, they'd understand the benefits of it. So as we dive in and talk about this more, I think it's going to be really cool.
And this is exactly the sort of thing that the sort of mindfulness that I teach is good at. Discovering where those judgments that your inner voice has, where they came from, and whether or not you want to keep them or change them.
So now, how many kinds of meditation techniques are there?
Well, I like to say that there's many meditation techniques as there are teachers.
Okay.
When I talk about a technique, I'm talking about a specific instruction set.
Okay.
So you might have a technique which is relax and watch your in-breath and watch your out-breath.
Okay.
Now a different technique might be relax and watch your thoughts going by like clouds.
Okay.
So those techniques both are going to get you to the same place, but they're different techniques. So in that sense, there's sort of infinite techniques.
And you chose the technique that you practice because...
So I chose a system, not a technique.
Okay.
So
it's important, I think. I have to keep saying that to myself because it's now the second time you said that, and I do believe that a system is a way of getting well. It's a process, right? So it doesn't surprise me that there's a system behind mindfulness. So
Yeah.
what is that system? Like,
So
explain-
the system, okay, so there's this system that Shinzen created.
Okay.
Which sort of encompasses all the best of contemplative practice.
Okay.
Falls under an umbrella generally of mindfulness.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we should talk in a little while about what mindfulness means, because everybody has a different idea. of what
Exactly. I
mindfulness is.
actually wrote that in my notes, and it's just a very common word.
Right, it's
So-
become the fad.
Yes, it has.
But within that umbrella, there are there's like, in Buddhism it's called vipassana, which is an observational, just watching and allowing to, be whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And then there's concentration practices, which are where you try and stick with one thing and get into a deep concentrated state. And there's visualization practices.
Okay.
All of these come within the system that I teach.
Okay.
And all of them can fall under mindfulness depending on how you define mindfulness.
Okay. I think that's a really good place to take a break.
Okay.
When we come back for the next part of this interview, we're going to talk about mindfulness and meditation, wellness, incorporating meditation into a lifestyle. So we'll be back.
Okay.
This is a great start. Thanks.
Good.